Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3542. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. The clack, driggity John. All right, here we go. A man claims a car backed into him and knocking him down into the ground. However, the car rear view camera shows otherwise. Meanwhile, a Florida home standoff is a tense situation, and cops could not believe their eyes. Meanwhile, Florida YouTubers drive around throwing slushies at people from their car. Boy gets $100 for his birthday, but that money won't go very far. Actually, went a long way. And a Phoenix man, he beats up his barber after a bad haircut. Also rips off his necklace and tries to steal that. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, a few weeks ago on I-5 near San Diego, commuters were treated to an unexpected sight. A small airplane making an emergency landing on the highway. Apparently, there was a fuel leak, and so the pilot put the plane down on the far left lane of the southbound traffic. And as you might imagine, puzzled drivers got out of their cars and started snapping pictures. No one tried to help, but they did take plenty of pictures. But no one expected to see them. And if you expect to see crazy airplane stunts, well, you're probably at an air show. Like the Bournemouth Air Festival. That's the UK's largest air festival. And during this year's festival, the most memorable moment came when a single-engine plane took to the sky with a wing walker. You know, the person strapped to the top as the plane performs stunts. Or even more memorably, when the plane ends up crashing upside down in the water with the wing walker still attached to the top. That's what happened earlier this week. But miraculously, both the pilot and the wing walker survived. But we bet it was, as they say, something to see. A lot of times there's something to see when you least expect it. It can be something as mundane as, I don't know, being stuck in a McDonald's drive-thru only to see a cow in the backseat of a Buick waiting in the same line. Or maybe you're in Florida and you witness a 6-hour armed standoff. That would be crazy enough. But because it's Florida, that is not crazy enough. In this case, you need to add a naked drunk chick on a golf cart breaking onto the scene for no good reason and having nothing to do with the 6-hour standoff. Now in Florida, now you got a party. But look, we've all seen crazy stuff, and that's what we want to talk about today. It's quite simple. We want to know, what were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Pojos, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3542. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. I know you're thinking these guys work awfully hard. Maybe one day they'll need to take a day off. Maybe you'll hear this show again. I have a feeling you will. The exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Stephen Throhill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week that suck. It's amazing you can find negative news out there, but believe it or not, these stories exist.
They really do, man.
You find 3 of them, and it's up to us. They all have some type of relation for the most part.
Sure.
So we try to figure out which one sucks the least. How bad is the situation today on Who Sucks Less?
You know, I'm going to say there's not a whole lot of relation with any of these, except people just suck. What did you say today, Mike? Like, I'm not okay with any of these this week?
Yeah, these are pretty vile people.
They're vile. They're not the worst people on earth, but they're vile. And they're just unnecessary. We say this every week. Like, this, you don't need to do anything that happened here.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad you did.
And more Men's Room as we go exclusively to the Odyssey app Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. We leave these airwaves here on KISW and head on over and do a little Men's Room happy hour. And that is only available if you download the Odyssey app, search for the Men's Room. You'll see the Men's Room happy hour. We've had a lot of questions about this. I downloaded it. It says I can't connect. You might be having an issue, or it's the fact that basically that app only works during the happy hour from 6 o'clock until we're done. So if you're checking in right now, it's not going to be there. It's not going to be there until 6 o'clock. Literally, we take about a minute and a half once we get off these airwaves. Sit here for a minute. We don't have time to pee. Take a deep breath. And then we start the Men's Room happy hour. Today, Man versus Beast returns. And a couple of interesting questions on Would You Rather. So if you haven't checked out the Men's Room happy hour, do so. Download the Odyssey app. It's absolutely free. And when you find the Men's Room happy hour, favorite that bad boy, and it'll always be there for you if you want to listen Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. What else do we have for you today? Oh, yeah, we got new Eddie Vedder. I'm laying in bed last night.
It's solo stuff.
Yeah. It's like 10:30 at night. What happened? Your mind blown that we got a new one?
I did not realize that was,
Yeah, we got new Eddie Vedder. I'm laying in bed last night.
What did you think? You're listening to Pearl Jam or what?
I just wasn't sure.
But you have heard it.
Yeah.
I have not heard it. Or if I have heard it, I have no recollection that I heard it.
So, I'm just going through Twitter and checking things for work last night. And I look around and it's like, new Eddie Vedder. released at midnight on the East Coast. And I thought to myself, who the F came up with this game plan?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, midnight on the East Coast? Like, I didn't even know there was a new Eddie Vedder. You'd think they'd give the stations a little bit of a heads up. You know what I'm saying?
You mean in Seattle?
Yeah.
No, that's ridiculous.
I'm like, midnight on the East Coast? What the hell's going on? Like, who is up going like, wow, they just sprang the news. The new Eddie Vedder's out. It's midnight on the East Coast. By the way, it's Tuesday night. In case you were out partying late, this is the perfect time to let you know that this, I can see it maybe on a Friday night. Maybe somebody's out. Maybe somebody's having a good time. Thinking to myself, who came up with this idea?
I do not
This is
know.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, we are fortunate enough to have the new Eddie Vedder.
You mean on Wednesday? At a normal
As
time.
was released, last night on the East Coast.
Sure. Well, 9 o'clock here. Now, did it only
That's good
debut?
for the West Coast, though.
I guess.
But did we get it at 9? Like this was universally presented?
I have no
or-
idea how the radio
Yeah.
company works. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe that was Ed's whole thing.
Yeah.
He wanted to release it at 9.
Sure. It's like if you
You
build
felt
a,
attacked.
if you build a new Chick-fil-A, you know what I mean? People are looking forward to that. You know what I mean? People love Eddie Vedder. So you build a new Chick-fil-A. Let's say you put it in Ballard, right? So people are going to get Chick-fil-A.
All right.
And then you open it midnight on a Tuesday night. Grand opening.
Yeah, but Chick-fil-A would actually have a line.
They would have a line.
That's one thing we've learned about Chick-fil-A.
But I have heard the new Eddie Vedder. It's a great tune.
I have not heard it.
It's very cool. So I will play that for you coming up as well. And today on the question, what were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? This is a strange story. As we do a lot here, we start in Florida. A tense standoff between Florida authorities and an armed suspect became even more dangerous over the weekend when a naked 28-year-old woman suddenly drove into the crime scene on a golf cart, according to reports. The woman, identified as Jessica Smith, she's from Boston, Massachusetts, had a, quote, distinct odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from her person, and she was completely nude, according to an affidavit of the incident acquired from Fox 13 of Tampa. At the time, police in Dunedin, which is actually where my dad lived for a number of years.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Lovely little town. Police in Dunedin had several Pinellas County Sheriff's Office vehicles parked around the crime scene, according to the radio or the television station. Smith allegedly drove past the law enforcement vehicles, drove past the police cars, and into the area where authorities were confronting an armed 18-year-old suspect in what turned out to be a 6-hour standoff. Smith allegedly ignored officers' demands that she leave the area, then later refused to get out of the golf cart when officers approached to arrest her. Sheriff's deputies then pulled her from her cart and handcuffed her naked, according to the report. The defendant's actions and inability to follow directions put multiple deputies at risk for potentially getting shot at. Authorities said Smith had no connection to the armed suspect whatsoever.
That's what makes this whole thing great.
She was charged with resisting an officer without violence. The armed suspect was identified as a guy named Miles Abbott.
The name gives it away.
He had allegedly, Miles with a Y, though, so he's a J-O.
Different Miles.
Yeah, exactly. Who does that? He had allegedly fired a gun at people in the area, ran from deputies, climbed onto the roof of a house where the standoff was going on. It was not his house.
I was going to ask.
Yeah. Abbott was charged with loitering, prowling, aggravated assault against a law enforcement officer, weapons charges, blah, 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 blah. Also faced a warrant for vehicular homicide.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was initially spotted with 2 other suspects who were later identified by a sheriff's office. He was charged with grand theft of a firearm, carrying a concealed firearm, felon in possession of a firearm. The juvenile that was with him also faced weapons charges, blah, blah, blah. But you're in the middle of an armed standoff. There's somebody on the roof of someone's house. They have the neighborhood completely cordoned off. They have police officers blocking both entrances to this road. Naked woman in a golf cart just buzzes right by on the sidewalk and keeps on going.
That's a good police barricade. I will say this, though. I will say this. The benefit is to the homeowner, all right? This is my house. I do not know what's going on, but a bunch of cop cars have surrounded it. They're telling me to get back to my house to point out to me that someone who is not you, who lives in your home, is on your roof and they're armed, wearing a stand-up. Well, now I'm irritated because my thought, again, if I'm the homeowner, shoot his ass. I want him off my roof. Get his ass off my roof. Okay. Or give me your gun. I'll shoot his ass. I don't care, but time to go. But they, of course, take the high road, so you're going to be there for 6 goddamn hours with this idiot. The best thing that happens in my night, well, now I'm up and I'm making coffee and probably turn the TV on for the kids, and I'm going to watch this unfold as it's right. Is that a naked chick shows up? Yeah. At least at that point, I look out my window and I go, hey, all right, if I'm going to have this dumbass on my roof and all the cops surrounding me, I'm kind of glad she made it through the barricade because at least that's fun and she's harmless.
That's what I'm saying. You could have been outside. You could have been the homeowner and gone like, hey, Miles, will you get the hell off my roof, man? I'm trying to go to bed. I've got like 2 elementary school kids. They got school tomorrow, man. He's like, you talk to me one more time. Wait a minute, dude. There's a naked woman.
Hold on. Hold that thought.
Both of you are like,
oh,
now you're in cahoots.
Miles, you're 6 o'clock,
Look
buddy.
Look at this. Look.
That's clearly what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, guaranteed.
There's no other chance she gets through.
And then the police officers, they all stopped doing what they were doing. I mean, yes, they might have scopes out and everything else, but not at this point in time.
Oh, he wasn't shooting
Attention
her.
is turned. Like, were their lives in jeopardy, as they said? Yes, of course they were. Were they really in jeopardy? Absolutely not. Right. This is not the time that anyone... the game is paused. This is when you go to the bathroom if you're playing video games. This is when you get up and make up.
This is the striker on the football field. This is unexpected.
Yeah, exactly.
It is interfering with the strategy we're both trying to play for, but we agree on both sides.
There's a timeout.
We will not resume play until this is dealt with, because while I might be crazy up on the roof with a gun, and the cops might be on edge because they got an armed man on the roof, she's just goddamn crazy. And let's see how this one unfolds, man.
But this is an attractive 28-year-old woman. Now, she's drunk, and she's giving the police officers crap. You know what I'm saying? Anybody's going to be entertained by this scenario unfolding in front of them. I don't care if you're involved in the standoff, if you're the homeowner,
I guarantee the guy
if
on the
you're
roof
the neighbors, if you're whatever. Like, don't worry about coming out. No one's going to shoot. There's a naked woman outside on a golf cart. Everybody's like, I got to see this. Not the standoff, not the police. You know, not the SWAT vehicles parked at the end of the road. You want to see the naked woman who pulled up in a golf cart at midnight.
That'd be the first time I pull out my phone to actually record anything. I'm not a big record guy because I don't care. Life's not that interesting to me. But that, like, ooh, hey, I don't care about the guy on the roof anymore. Other than my dog would not stop barking. I know that's one thing. But beyond that, like, I want to see the naked one.
I mean, other than
in fact, if the dude on my roof is responsible for this hot naked chick being in my front yard, I would ask the police. I'll tell you what. Why don't we give him like another 20 minutes up there? I know I was saying shoot him earlier, but now, like, just hold off.
I can't think of anything else that would diffuse the situation. You'd have a car full of clowns. They pull right in front of the yard and all spill out and start juggling, doing
they're
tricks.
They're getting shot. They're getting shot.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing.
By the cops and the guy on the roof.
There's nothing else.
Everybody.
That could have stopped this tense situation and just brought the level down to a level of like, what in the hell is that? What in the hell just happened there? And why on earth did she think that would be a good idea?
Because she was hammered. And if I read it right, she's also from out of town.
She's from Boston.
Which leads me to believe this is like blackout drunk. So when she woke up today and realized that she's in a jail cell, they kind of explain, well, you got a little drunk last night. And she says, okay, I apologize for that. And they say, well, we're not done yet. And she, of course, will ask for her clothes because this jumpsuit says you did not have clothes at the time of arrest. And now, she, of course, again, she's going to say, oh, my God, what did I do? It's like, well, we didn't find you at a bar or anything like that. You drove a golf cart into the middle of a goddamn armed standoff.
Listen, I have, in Florida, and I've told Ted this before, look, I love to play the game of golf. I don't use a golf cart, probably 95% of the time I play, unless the course requires one because it's difficult to walk because the holes are far apart or whatever. But I would give my left arm to have a golf cart. Just parked in my garage. It's the worst possible idea. You'd have to be in a community that can do it. But my uncle lives down in Florida. His whole community has golf carts. You will see the weirdest thing in the world. You will leave a bar, all right, and you're allowed to walk outside with a beer, and you will see people driving home. There's two people in the front. Now there's one person standing up on the back of the golf cart, where the bags are supposed to be, holding onto the back, and he's drinking a Michelob Ultra, and they're going down a street. They're going down a road with a speed limit, like a road. And it's not, they will not get pulled over. This is Florida. That is perfectly acceptable as long as the driver of that vehicle is not intoxicated. The guy can be on the back.
But that's the whole thing. It's not drunk driving.
Yeah, no.
The guy hanging on the back.
The guy driving. He's drunk. He should never be. They're just going to go, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, be careful. You know what I mean? They're not going to arrest him. Florida's just,
They do not care. They do not care about anything. I think we've well established that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You be Florida.
Right. But it's just crazy,
I've only been to one in South Carolina. My buddy's parents live there. And same thing. It's like it's regular roads, but it's all golf carts. And then they have cool ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's like a Cadillac one or like a Ford
Well, they have
one.
a market there because nobody's trying to drive their car there unless they're going a great distance, right? But for what they do, it's like, I just want a golf cart. I just need a golf cart. But some of these car companies are like, look, between South Carolina, a little bit of North Carolina, and all of Florida, we can make a mint. We have a target audience. You know how many to produce. And like you said, people have a Cadillac golf cart. They do. But they stand outside and look at it like you just rolled up in the new Escalade.
And typically,
ooh, that's a nice
That's what it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
And typically
that's what it was supposed to look like, a little escalator. And then some of those people, though, too, they don't have regular golf carts. They have, like, seats on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a
family
sedan.
size, like a limo thing.
Case the grandkids visit,
And the way it works, Mike, is most of these courses and like just developments are in communities, okay? So if a gated community, when you leave that gate, that community is supported by, there's a Walmart right there. There's a gas station right there.
Yeah.
There's a Rite Aid right there. People will take their golf cart, man, and they will drive right into the Walmart parking lot, get their crap, and they'll have groceries coming home on a golf cart. Basically, there's a little trail there that they can drive on. But, I mean, it's just like, it's as common as seeing, a car on the road, to see a golf cart just driving around.
It should be there. When you consider the age of the people that drive, like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Now, this one is crazy. A wing walker. You know what a wing walker is? They're the people who are up on top. They're attached to the top of, think of like a Red Baron type of plane, double wing plane. Sometimes they climb out on the wing. Sometimes they are actually attached to the top, and they get up on top, and they put the funny hat on, you know what I mean, and they do their thing. Well, a wing walker plane crash landed into the sea during an air festival, narrowly missing holidaymakers. The aircraft had one person strapped onto the top as it performed stunts at an air festival in Dorset.
Have you seen the pictures of this?
They go upside down. They do, all kinds of stuff.
You ever seen one in person?
No.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Have you seen it, man?
Yeah, I've seen it at an air show. And, like, there's a strap, but it's like he can still fall out. But it's just crazy. They come buzzing by, and the dude's either out on the wing or, like, the one I saw was like a biplane.
Okay.
So he's up on top.
Yeah. Well, eyewitnesses said it was a miracle no one was hurt as it plunged into the sea meters from where people sat on their boats in the harbor. The young female acrobat and pilot screamed for help as they were left underwater when their plane flipped upside down. Emergency service rushed to the scene. Both of the people on board are safe and sound and in the care of emergency services. Police set up an area around the site, and flying was suspended for the rest of the day. They announced there had been an accident involving one of the displays away from the display area. Crew are safe and sound and being looked after. As a result, flying has been suspended until further notice. It is amazing that they made it out alive. Keep in mind,
because the thing about it was, you're strapped to the top of the plane, single engine plane anyway, but the harbor that they crashed into was packed with boats. So the pilot did everything they could to avoid the boaters, which they did. But as soon as the wheels touched the water, the thing flipped upside down. Keep in mind, if you're the wing walker, like, that's where you are.
The plane,
that's bad.
Plane sank within 30 seconds of hitting the water. And rescue workers went out in dinghies to get the two crew members. Eyewitness said the acrobat was still attached to the plane as it hit the water, and they saw the woman brace for impact before she screamed for help loudly. Yeah, everyone is okay. It was mad. The plane just sunk. John Thacker from Birmingham was watching the air show action from on board a boat. We're just coming into the harbor, and the aircraft was coming in low. When its wheels hit the water, it flipped. The plane sank really quickly, and it was gone within 30 seconds. There was no sign of it at all. We couldn't get close to it as the draft was too large, but some rubber dinghies got to it in 15 to 20 seconds. Both occupants have been rescued. I have no idea if she just was able to Houdini this and unstrap herself and swim to the surface, or they had to go down and unstrap her and pull her out. My guess is she was able to get herself
I guess she unstrapped herself.
But that is crazy.
Right, it's just like, it's crazy enough that the plane crashes into the water, but just and the thing is, at the time that they were up in the air, it was one of two planes that had wing walkers on them, so they're kind of doing stunts together, right? And then one goes down. So just even going through the mind of the wing walker on the safer plane, like, you're watching your friend, right? Because I assume the wing walker community is a small one, right? So you're watching your friend, you know the plane's going to crash. Then you watch it crash and watch it flip upside down. There's no way you thought that woman survived.
You saw a guy die.
Hang glider, yeah.
At an air show.
It was an air show. No planes. It was all hang gliders. And this is Colorado. But we kept watching him spiral around this radio tower. And at first we thought he was doing tricks. But like a whirlpool, he kept getting closer to it. And this took a while. It's not like it happened in 30 seconds. I mean, this was 5 to 7 minutes maybe, and you realize he's just doing this one circuit, and all the other hang gliders are not going to the area he is. So whatever's going on with the current or whatever the hell the situation was, he was trapped, he couldn't get out, and then for about the last 45 seconds maybe, you heard him screaming, and that's you're like, oh, okay, this is not a trick. And then he hit this radio tower thing, or whatever it is, giant antenna, right? But he hit this thing, and immediately the thing crumpled, and he just dropped to the ground There's like a poof of dust, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. And I remember I'm there with my father, and he was real cool about it. He just put his arm on my shoulder and said, okay, let's go. All right, just...
Show's over, kids.
Yep, let's go back home. Let's go back home.
What were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? 206-421-ROCK.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
What were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? 206-421-ROCK.
And right out of the gate, we get this one. Hiked around Mount Rainier last year, witnessed 2 bears making babies. Yeah, we stopped and watched the entire time. So you watch a little bear porn, huh?
Huh.
Was it quick? Is it fast? Is it vicious? I mean, how does it work, right? I've seen like lions have sex. We've heard turtles have sex. But with bears,
they're bigger, so I think they would take their time a little bit more. I mean, I just think it's like the.
Are you basing this on like Charmin ads?
I'm not basing this on the size of the animal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just seems to me like big animals would take their time. They would be more like cuddlers.
I don't know. Lions, you know what I mean? Right? Like, the lion
where
basically
a fox is just going to hit it and quit it.
But a lion chases the female down, right? Uh-huh. And then as soon as she stops, and credit on them, like, imagine a woman is laying in bed with her legs spread, and you get a 100-yard running start, and you have to dive and place your penis perfectly. I couldn't do it. The lion nails it every time.
You would try.
I would absolutely give it my best. But lions, man, they have like a homing beacon on that thing, and they just slam in there, bite down on the head for a minute, make some noises. I don't know what it is with all mammals, but at the moment of orgasm, you know very much what is happening with the lion, and then he's done. He's off to sleep. Like, I almost want to hand him a cigarette. Like, all right, bro.
I don't think Miles is too far off.
You picturing the bears being all cuddly?
Well, for a part of it. Part of it's aggressive.
I mean...
Really?
I'm banking this off.
How long do you think it lasts? They just got back to me about how long the bear's sex lasted.
Actual sex?
I don't know, but it's got to be the whole thing.
I bet it's like a human. 3 minutes?
Yeah.
What human?
I mean, it does look like makeup sex. It looks like they obviously were in a scuffle.
You guys might be onto something, all right? Because apparently it lasts about 45 minutes.
Okay, see?
45 minutes. Are they like eating oysters and drinking wine?
There's a numbing cream that you can apply that makes you less sensitive.
Or maybe the bear lost a level of excellence, and then he did other stuff, and then went back to work.
Yeah, I'm surprised the bears take 45 minutes to get their fuzzy loving on.
It's probably only once a year that they have this opportunity.
Why is that?
Well, it just seems like, they hibernate for, 4 or 5 months during the year.
Okay, but that gives me 7 or 8 months, right? For the rest of the year.
I don't know.
To get down to what it is on to get down to.
See, I'm not sure if they're one of those animals that kind of stick tight with a family. Like if you see a family of raccoons, like they're forever together.
The family.
Yeah, crows are the same way. I'm not sure how bears work. I don't know if it's just cool to go out and do whatever you want.
I don't think they are, because how many times have you heard of daddy bear attacking a person because of the cubs? You know what I mean?
You're right.
Anytime.
Well, he might be out. He's working. He's out doing it. Yes, he is. He's out doing his thing.
Once he has those kids, it seems like Papa Bear's out.
I'm with you. I don't
never
hear a lot.
You might hear about a male bear attacking someone, but never do they point out that when we tracked him down to his den, there were cubs or a female involved. Right? He might be guarding food. He might be having sex, but it's like once kids are born, it's like, I'm out.
That's true. The porridge-eating bear was by himself.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yep.
Just saying.
What are you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hello, Chris.
Chris?
And goodbye, Chris.
There's something there. Put him back on hold. Let's see. It says, the men's room, the pinnacle of highbrow conversations about animals doing it and how they'd like to imagine. Look, if you have a better explanation, please give it.
We're just throwing it out there. We're spitballing.
I figured.
Why would we Google this?
It's 45 minutes. That tells me if it's 45 minutes, either Mama Bear's like, hey, it happens to all guys, take your time, or that's just what bears do. And maybe you guys are onto something. Maybe Miles was right.
I swear the bunnies in my apartment complex are doing like some sort of a porn shoot out there because they are all just getting after it.
But
right
it's
now.
12 seconds at the most.
It is, but every single one of them's doing it.
I know,
too.
they're doing it like rabbits. That's where that came from. Like cursing like a sailor. There's a reason for it.
I'm just out here trying to walk my dog, and here I can't go to the corner without seeing this action going on right now.
There's tons of it.
I know, my dog's sniffing all around the yard now every night, and I know he's just smelling rabbit sex because the rabbits apparently everywhere, just a bigger population.
Not only that, spiders are doing it now. This is their time to get down and dirty.
There was a six spiders.
Do they get down and dirty, or do they just like do the fish thing where they just do the drive-by? Like, where are your eggs? I spray your eggs, I keep swimming.
I don't know how they
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not sure. I really don't care enough about them to care.
I don't know. I've seen flies having sex.
All the time.
Right? Every once in a while,
you'll see dragonflies. You'll see dragonflies a lot attached to each other. They're doing it.
They do it midair, too, man.
Yeah, they fly and just do it that way.
That is super impressive. Just saying. That's just me.
Then you'd have to think that all birds do it while flying.
Okay, it says male bears are not involved with bear cubs after he mates. He's the deadbeat dad. Throws right, black and grizzly bear males have no involvement with raising the young. All right.
Okay.
That's all. Just basing it on that,
Get it and quit it.
Now everybody's an expert. Hello, Chris. Are you there?
Chris?
Like, what does that sound?
Maybe it's his phone.
It could be. Chris, we can't hear you if you're talking, so just ignore us for a minute. All right, we'll get back to the phones in 1 second. Let's see. Male bears will kill the cubs to bring the female. All right, so it says male bears will kill cubs to bring a female bear into season.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's a bad
That's
stuff
effed
there.
up.
Okay.
Like, the way to have sex is to kill the kids of someone you want to have sex with? That is all bear.
And that's not even like, right, it's not even like he's not hanging around the kids. He's out there killing kids.
Yeah, lions do that S2, right? So you get like a lion that'll invade another lion's pride. So now it's original male lion going to fight the young male lion. If young male lion wins, old male lion, typically spared, they got to go wander off, but he eats the cubs. And then what's crazy is, and again, this is just us humanizing, but it's like, let me get this straight. You rolled into someone else's pride. So this is like a dude who's married to like 7 women, all right? And he has kids with all of them. Broke into his house, and you beat his ass, and then you kill his kids, and then you move into the house, and you have sex with all his wives.
You killed somebody else's kids.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, God damn. I think humans do it right.
I think, unfortunately, they cannibalize themselves, too.
I read a story in Field and Stream about a
Field and Stream
black bear who killed.
Why were you reading Field and Stream?
Because they had an article in there about all the bear attacks that have happened this year, and they categorized.
Was this online?
Yes.
Okay.
In death. Do you think I get Field and Stream?
That's why I was asking. I'm just picturing you
shocked.
You know, I'm a big fly fisherman guy.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, so this bear killed this camper at I believe it was in Yellowstone.
You have sex with his wife?
Well, they tracked down the bear, and they realized that the bear was actually guarding a moose carcass.
Ah, okay.
But when they killed the bear, because they were fairly certain that was the bear that took the lady's life, they realized that the bear had grizzly fur and meat in its stomach. So the bear had taken on a grizzly.
You said it was a black bear?
A black bear
took out a grizzly bear.
Had grizzly bear fur and meat in its stomach from attacking a bear that was trying to take the carcass away from the black bear. That's how aggressive these guys go down. So he did not appear to be physically injured on the outside.
Right,
but he did have the remains of some part of a grizzly bear in his stomach.
It seems like a black bear could take on a grizzly.
That's a little Cat Williams black bear. I know you ain't trying to get my moose.
Or did he eat a baby Grizz?
Who knows?
Ooh.
Oh, that would be something.
I feel like that'd be the wrong thing to do. That's just me. Hello, Fritz. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, Fritz is there.
Was it lucky or unlucky?
Well, I thought it was lucky. I do have a bear story, but I'm going to tell the naked lifeguard story if that's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
14, 15, I'm an assistant lifeguard. Pool's closed for the day. It's raining. And for some reason, the men's room or the boys' room is the only shower that's hot. Okay?
Okay.
So new lifeguards come in for the summer from a couple towns away. Nobody knows anybody. And, of course, there's one that's an absolute stunner. 6 foot, Brooke Shields, standalone, like wow factor. She goes in to use the bathroom, and then she says she's going to go in the shower. So we're cleaning in there. We're standing around talking, and I don't know if she forgot we were in there, and we're on the far end, and it's kind of a shotgun room, like a straight through. So we're on the other end. We're all talking. She knew we were there for a minute, and out she comes. And I got the best look anybody got, and I've never ran so fast in my life. I got out of there because I felt like I was doing something wrong, and she saw one dude out of like 4 of us, and he caught the flack for standing in there being a peeping Tom.
How much grief and or trouble did he get into?
She went after him. She knew him better than most of us, so she went after him physically, like started throwing stuff at him and started running after him, which was great because we were on the outside, far side of the pool. I had never laughed or ran so fast in my life, and he caught all of it. Never gave us up, never said anything. And I haven't told that story to this day. She was absolutely gorgeous.
And it was as good as advertised when you saw her naked?
I mean, sweet Jesus. Bottom, left to right, snapshot, like click, 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 still got it there. And I can't tell you, at that age, that was the first time I saw anything like that in real life. And I instantly had that feeling like I'm doing something wrong and turned right and gone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I never saw great nudity. Every time I've seen nudity, it was just, oh God, I saw the worst thing ever, man. It was at the community pool at Suncrest, and they had a really nice deep diving in, but they had a rather large ladder to get out of the 12-foot section. It was a bigger ladder than on the shorter part. And there was a woman there with her kid. Kid goes up the ladder first, and she kind of helps the kid along, and she's next, and I'm waiting for her, and she starts going up the ladder. I was probably 10, 12 years old.
All right.
And you have to remember, this is the early 80s. She was a woman, a larger carriage woman. And I'm underneath her, and I'm looking up. And basically, it looked like that she had like a raccoon tucked in her swimsuit. And I'm looking up at this thing, and I'm like, oh, my God. What is that? I mean, that didn't look like Playboy to me. Right. Like, I've seen Playboy. That didn't look like Playboy. You know what I mean? That looked like a bearskin rug. I didn't know. I mean, it was like halfway down her thighs. I didn't know. You know, maybe it was a different time.
It was.
It was a different time. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I just did not know that it could happen like that.
Did it ruin you for a while?
It was just,
it was jarring.
It was just not what I expected.
Well, sure. You always think your first introduction is going to be this wonderful, glamorous thing, and it never is.
And I understand. I have no problem with being natural and doing all that stuff. Hell, I mean, I see a ton of beautiful women in Fremont. They've got hair under their arms. Like, doesn't bother me. I don't care if you don't shave your legs half the time. I was kind of a hippie guy growing up, so like you'd hook up with hippie chicks and camping and stuff like that. So that doesn't really bother me. Plus, that was kind of normal back then. But this was over and beyond. This was just
too much.
This was a lot.
Come on.
This is a lot going on.
But I mean, did anybody? It just wasn't part of the game. Did anybody trim anything?
I mean, you were more macho if you're a guy. Like, you wanted chest hair.
But not chest hair, but I'm just saying, I think the pubic region.
Bathing suit time, you know, men and women, typically, even if you just let everything go. It's just one of those, typically at a pool or the beach, wherever. They'll at least put it on and then just trim up to the line of them. You know what I mean?
But just something. If you saw like someone was in like a light blue bathing suit, or they were in a white bathing suit. I mean,
you can see the whole poncho.
You see the whole deal. You know what I mean? You see like, you know,
it looked like the biggest shred of wheat you ever seen in your life.
Unbelievable.
Oh, just one.
Just a single huge piece of shredded wheat.
Looked like a divot. You know what I mean? I don't hit the fairway, so I don't get them, but looked like a big old divot.
Hello, Vince. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
Been waiting for years to call in. Finally did. Here I am.
Excellent. Is this a lucky or an unlucky sighting?
I'm going to say lucky today.
Okay.
All right.
So back in the early 80s, me and my buddies played center in Tacoma. We're driving down Palop Avenue, and we have the stoplight on D Street, which runs adjacent to the Tacoma Dome. Must have been a family event going on, mom and dad and kids. I look over, there's a guy leaning on the pole, going to town on himself. I said to my buddies, I said, hey, look at that. And they look over there, and just about time we look back, he does his business. Dad pulls his daughter out of the way just in time.
Oh, they were walking besides this guy?
I mean, there was a event at the Tacoma Dome. People crossing the crosswalk were stopped at the stoplight.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, the guy's going to town, and the dad pulls his daughter just in time out of the way of getting hit.
Oh, God.
Why is that lucky?
So close.
Well, yeah, lucky that I didn't get hit. Unlucky that probably had to see it.
Unlucky that guy didn't get his ass beat. Is what,
I've seen that once, and it was a dude at a library. It was back in Baltimore, but by the time I realized what he was doing, he was also finishing, and it lands in his book. That's not his book, it's a library book, and he closes the book, like gets up. Oh, yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, it was like 15 or whatever. It was like 4 of us from high school, and there was some crap we had to do, some paper or something, but we're sitting at one of those communal tables, and he's at another table. And at 15, you're very much into yourselves. We're talking about whatever we're talking about. You kind of glance up at this guy, and I mean, last minute, you just see, then he slammed the book shut. We're just like, oh, God. Like, oh, my God, man. And being responsible, we didn't tell anyone. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to the security guard like, hey, man, there might be semen in that book on that table over there. I mean,
don't read that
book.
What were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? 206-421-ROCK.
That is awful.
Oh, it's horrible. Man, it is like burned into. I remember what he was wearing. I remember what he looks like. And we probably saw him for a total of about 2 seconds.
Aye.
But it's just what he did in that moment. Like, oh, you're blazing my brain, and I can never get you out. Thank you. Thank you for that. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I was one of the lucky ones. Years ago, I'm from Los Angeles, and I lived in the desert just northeast of Los Angeles. And just outside of that area, there's an Air Force base called Edwards Air Force Base. And so it wasn't unusual to see aircraft flying off in the distance, and there was some pretty cool stuff that we saw. So we were driving, my mom was driving me down to LA, and so we're driving on the freeway, and I look off in the distance, and I see this B-2 bomber flying. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know? And then I see it as it's kind of circling around, and I was looking at it, I was like, he's getting kind of close, and getting closer, and he's flying really low. And so as he circles back around, he ends up flying right over the top of us at about 100 feet.
Jesus.
Just right over us. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, fortunately, I was on the friendly end of it. You know, that could be, you know, on the bad end on if.
Now, you thought it was cool. Did your mom think it was cool?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My mom was totally on board. She's like, this is, yeah, she was on board with that.
That is pretty crazy,
Okay.
man. I mean, I guess if I were a pilot, I'd buzz a couple cars, too.
I think pilots do that all the time if they can.
If it's something like that, where you know it's a B-2 bomber, you know what I mean? It's not a Cessna. So, I mean, it's a lot more intriguing to see that kind of thing.
I think even if you're just flying a Cessna, like, I don't know, you know your friend, let's say you know your friend Miles is out golfing on a certain course that he enjoys.
For sure.
I'd buzz him.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt, man.
We had a caller who we didn't put on, but she was talking about seeing the Blue Angels, which is ironic now because the story involves the Blue Angels. But if you play in the Seafair Golf Tournament, which is the weekend of Seafair, the Blue Angels, they have some guys that play golf out there as well. So some guys fly, some guys go play golf. Well, they buzz everybody.
Oh, of course.
Like if you're on that course, and that's where they bank anyway, they just come right over top of it. You know, it looks like it's 50 feet. You know, obviously they're higher than that, but they're not much higher than that. You know what I mean? Like they're professional pilots just having fun screwing with their buddies.
That is cool, though. That's awesome.
What were you lucky or unlucky enough to see with your own eyes? 206-421-ROCK.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.